Good morning, everyone. I don't have a ton of time today, but I wanted to do another quick video on the Librem 5. Now, here we have the Librem 5, and I've gotten a chance to do some testing with it. Unfortunately, phone calls and SMS messages haven't really worked for me. I've tried with a T-Mobile SIM and a Verizon SIM, and those are not things that outright work. I've heard that it works on some carriers somewhere, but in the testing it hasn't worked for me. What has worked for me is mobile data. So both the T-Mobile SIM and the Verizon SIM here in northeastern United States, they worked fine. I was able to get like reasonable 4G speeds. But cellular data and phone calls aren't really the thing I wanted to show today. What I wanted to show today is one of the neat features that we can do with the Librem 5 that we can't really do with any sort of traditional phone, at least not quite as smoothly as the Librem 5 can do it. So what I'm going to do here is go ahead and type in a message into this text editor. And this text editor, that's not how you spell hi. I'll fix it once I have a real keyboard. Because what I'm going to do is convergence. So we have this text editor, and this is just gedit, the standard GNOME text editor from desktop Linux. And when I go ahead and plug it over here into my laptop docking USB thing, which connects it to a mouse, a keyboard, and a monitor, we're going to be able to get access to the mouse, the keyboard, and the monitor on the phone. So I'm just going to do that live, and we'll see it go horribly wrong. The thing plugs in here, and then let me justificate this a little bit. Oh, and we can immediately see over here on the monitor, we have it set up as a second desktop, just as if this were a normal computer plugged in. So our app isn't there. And the other thing I have going on here is that there's a HDMI capture card going into my laptop. So we're getting that second display on my laptop as well. In any case, I'm gonna go ahead here on the phone, and we're gonna go over to settings. I have a mouse. That's ridiculous. We're going to go to settings. Settings are here. And that took a second to pop up because this doesn't have the same sort of fake full screen loading thing that hides the load time of windowed applications the same way other cell phone platforms have. But let's go ahead and go to, that's the wrong thing. Let's go to devices and then displays. Let's go this way. Let me go ahead and lock it in landscape mode. Set it to a single display. And then we're going to just hit apply. And then over on the other screen, oh, it's not doing the thing. So if I set this to 1280 by 800, so 1280 by 720, and then mirror. Oh, mirror is the thing that I wanted. So you can see that the screen isn't displaying anything. All right, and now you can see that we have the same display over here, and at this point I'm going to switch to doing capture through the laptop because it's easier to see. But we have our keyboard and mouse hooked up to the Librem 5, working now as a desktop computer with two monitors, which is super neat. That's not something that we can easily do with, I mean, I haven't gotten it to work on Android. Maybe someone has, but the advantage of running sort of real desktop style Linux here is that when we go into this mode, we have real desktop style Linux on our converged phone desktop setup. All right, here we are on the Librem 5 in convergence mode. I have it plugged into a keyboard, a mouse, and a monitor, and I get to use it like a docked laptop or like a desktop computer. Now we still have this slightly strange we still have this slightly strange user interface that's designed for touch, but we can operate it with the mouse here. And so I'm going to go ahead and close these apps. And oh, here's our thing where we had this incorrectly saying bye there, and I wanted to say hi there. And this is just gedit, and we're able to operate it normally with a keyboard and mouse. And we can see that this is a little bit faster typing with the keyboard than it was with the on-screen keyboard. And so that's pretty neat. We actually could use this as a sort of low-spec desktop, and we are able to maintain our state between working directly on the phone in phone mode and working in converged mode. We didn't lose our open document. But that's not the most exciting thing I can do here. Instead, I'm going to open up an application that I manually installed here. Chromium and Evolution are the two things that are not installed by default that you see in this list, but I'm going to go ahead and open up Chromium because Chromium is a straight up desktop application. And you can see we're getting sort of multi-window window manager behavior, whereas when we don't have it docked, the behavior that we would get would be that this is full screen. I'm going to go ahead and make this full screen anyway. And then we'll go to some website. Let's see how 3D acceleration works, because that's not going to work. So slither.io. So this requires some sort of fancy behavior. Are we discovering that we don't have Wi-Fi? Google loaded. So yeah, we're connected to a Wi-Fi network. Let's try something else. So I think in this particular setup, I'm a little bit too far away from my Wi-Fi, so I plugged in wired internet into my docking thing. And with wired internet, we should be able to load slither.io. And things are loading a little bit slowly. This shouldn't be my, my internet here, relatively fast fiber internet. And so this is just slither.io loading slowly. If I open up a new tab and load oh, there's Google loaded pretty quickly. Let's go ahead and load Wikipedia. So slither.io finally loaded, and that is the sort of real-time animation behavior. So if I go ahead and give myself a nickname and click play, we can see sort of laggy browser performance on slither.io on the Librem 5 here. This is, if I had to guess, I'd say this is under 10 frames per second. In fact, we can now see it clicking. It's like, oh, I died without seeing what went wrong. So yeah, this is really bad performance with this sort of complicated graphics. But if we go to a different website like Wikipedia, go to English Wikipedia, we're getting pretty decent scrolling behavior, pretty decent loading speed for simpler websites. So this is minimally usable as a sort of laptop replacement, at least for simple tasks.